Daf Lamed Vav Amud Aleph, 25 lines down. Itmar. Shomer Shemasar the Shomer. If one Shomer, one watchman, gave it to the item that he's watching to another watchman without permission. Rav Amar Patur, the guy, Rav says that the guy's Patur, something happens to it. The first Shomer. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Hayav. Rabbi Yochanan says, no, you're Chayav if you gave it to someone else. Amar Rabbi Abaya says, the time I did the according to the reason of Rav is why. Even if it's not obviously a case with it, even in a case, sorry. Not only in the case for the unpaid shomer, if it's an unpaid shomer that gave it to a paid shomer, you're patur because the alu ala mishmerato because he upgraded the shemirah. All right, you gave it to a better watchman than you. You're doing it for free. You gave it to someone who you're paying. But even shomer sachar shemasar the shomer hinam, but even a paid shomer handed it to unpaid shomer, which is a darura gadal shemito, which is a lower level of watching. Patur, even in that case, you're patur. My time, why? Deha misara lebendat. You gave it to someone who's able to handle it, and he didn't. That's not my fault. Not even not only in the case where the paid shomer gave it to an unpaid shomer chayav because then he lowered the shemirah. But even in a case of shomer hinam shomer sachar, an unpaid guy handed the paid guy, you're still chayav. You upgraded it, even though you upgraded it chayav because the guy can tell him I lent it to you, not to somebody else. I didn't want you to hand it to someone else. I only trusted you. Okay, Marav Chizar says, "I did have love b'ferush itmar." Rav that said that you are patur. Rav said that you're patur. If you hand it over, it wasn't a specific halacha, but rather it was from we implied it. How these gardeners, every day they leave their shovels to be watched by an old lady. One day they ended up leaving the shovels by one of the other gardeners. They heard sound. This guy who was watching it heard some sounds from a party. He went to the party and he gave it to that same old lady. As the Azavata ignored Mariah, when they came back, the shovels were stolen by the old lady's house. Rav came to the gardener came to Rav to ask him, and Rav said, "You're patur." Manda has a because they thought maybe because it must be that if you're handing it over from one shomer to the next, you're patur. However, that's not the case. Shani Hatam, in that case, is different. The reason why patur is not because you're allowed to hand it over to anybody, but over there is because they usually used her and trusted her on the day to day, and therefore, since we know that they trusted her, therefore you are patur. But maybe Rav would agree that if you hand it over, otherwise you'd be chayav. Rami has a question. He sat down. The Kamal Hashmatai was teaching what Rabbi Yochanan said earlier, that transferring over an object is chayav if you're transferring the shemirah item. Someone rents a cow from his friend, and he lent it to someone else to use it. And it died naturally. The renter should swear that it died. And then the borrower pays the renter because they acquired it. And if it's true that you're not like hand it over, he should be able to tell him that it's not my I didn't want you to give it over, and therefore you have no right to lend it over, and therefore you should be paying me. And we say no. In that case, it's different. In that case, they were getting over there, but the guy gave the renter permission to lend it out, and since therefore it's authorized. Therefore, the first shemer patur. So how come the borrower should pay the owner, not the lender, because technically he lent it out then? Right? No, he says, no, you're able to lend it out, but on your own head. So over here, since the guy was patur, the shomer patur, the initial shomer is patur, the renter is patur, and the second guy was chayav, he pays the renter. Someone leaves money by his friend. Rabbi put it in a bundle and threw over his back in the cloth in a bag. He handed it over to his young minor katan son or daughter. Then or he locked it improperly, chayav, because it was pshia. You didn't watch it correctly. Sounds like the only reason you're chayav is because they were young kids. But if they're adults to be patur. But according to Yochanan, that shouldn't work. I didn't want you to give it to your adult son. I only wanted to give it to you. Question against Yochanan. Whoever hands over money, you know that if you're handing it over to someone, they're going to let their family watch it as well. Therefore, you can't claim that. I'm reading the dry. Take Nami, you can prove it. The time it says the Osh Masran Bno Uputo Aktanim Kayav. It says only if you gave it to your son or daughter, you're chayav. Halab no b'to adlim patur, but it sounds like if it'd be older, they'd be patur. Mechal d'lacharim, it sounds like other people. Lo shnag lo shakadim, no different than adults or kids. Hayav yachayav imkin l'tiniktim stamad. Otherwise, it would have said just minors in general, without saying that whose children they are. Shemamina, therefore we see that you're only chayav if you give it to minor children, but if you give it to your own adult children, you'll be patur. Mara says, is shomer shemasad shomer. If one shomer handed over to someone else to watch, chayav yachayav. Koloi by shomer shemasad shomer hinam. Not only in a case where you handed over a paid guy to unpaid shomer, like we said earlier, that's a lower level watching. In the case shomer hinam shemasad shomer sechar, even if an unpaid guy hands a paid guy, you're chayav. If we have a problem, I trusted you that you'd swear. Who says the other guy I trust? Therefore, you can't rely to make him patur. Itmar, Pashabat, the Shomer was Shomer, the Shomer was Poshea by watching it, and the Yetzirah escaped La'agam Ometa Kedarka and went to a swamp and it died there. Abayin Shmid Rabba Mar Bashma says, Hayad Verchayab, Rabba Shmid Rabba Patur. Mar Patur. This is your Patur. Let's see. Abayin Shmid Rabba Mar Hayab, Rabba says Verchayab, Kodayan lo it be Kahidana. And any judge doesn't agree with me, Lazay is not considered a judge. Let me bind them are. It's not necessary. It's not only in a case, not only according to the opinion that holds of bonus and hayav. Right, so there's in general that let's say you do something that is negligent to begin with, but then an accident happens. You decided to drive your car while closing your eyes, and then a drunk driver hit your car. Right, so that was you started with being negligent, but then an accident happened to you. So the machloket whether or not you're still being chayav in that scenario. So even according to the opinion that holds your chayav. Not only with the opinion holds that in this case to the swamp, you be chayav, over here chayav as well. Even the guy holds patur, over here. Why yes, an accident happened, but what happened? It went to a swamp, and in the swamp, the bad fumes killed it, and therefore your negligence led to the death. Rabba says. Patur, whoever doesn't agree with me is not a good judge. Not only according to the opinions of patur, not only according to all the generally that if you start with negligence and you end up with an accident, you're patur, the patur over here patur. But even if he generally holds a chayav, patur, you still agree patur. Why? Because of the angel death. What difference where the animal is, and therefore he agrees with me over here patur because nothing happened. It wasn't an honest per se. It didn't get hit by a car because that was a legitimate hit. It just died. So what's the difference where the Malach HaMavet would have killed it? Interesting. Never pictured the Malach HaMavet chasing after animals. I don't know. I would agree. The animal went back to the owner's house and it died there. The patur. Because he returned before it died. There's no reason to believe to say that the fumes killed it, of the swamp killed it. Would agree. The thief would steal it while it was in the swamp. And it died in the thief's possession. The Hayav would be paid because it was, even though it was stolen. Because if you would have, even if the angel death would have left the animal alone, it would have still been in the thief's house. Therefore, the fact that it died doesn't help you. It was still stolen. You had it stolen. According to you, who said that regarding Malach HaMavet, doesn't make a difference where it is. How do you understand the question against Rabbi Ami? Right? We had earlier that a shomer who gives over to someone else is considered negligent because the guy could say, I didn't want anybody else to watch it. And we said over there is we gave him permission. And like if there's no permission, then you hand it over to someone else, you'll be chayav. But then why can't you just say Malach HaMavet? Don't say you had permission. Just say, listen, if it died there, it's not my problem. It would have died anywhere. That's a different answer. According to you, who holds that Rebbe would say you're chayav, and why? Because I don't want you to give someone else. That's why I had to give a different answer. According to me, that I say that you're the first guy is chayav, and because I believe him. Second guy, I don't believe him. There's no question to begin with because he would be agreeing that he's patur. Say your shepherd is taking a animal up the top of the mountain. It's a tight mountain and it fell and it died. It's not considered an accident. You're chayav. How much the Kedaka sounds like if it died naturally. Has it honest Platur sounds like the Platur. By my wag the Malay tell him Avira the Haikatla, the mountain air was not inferred and it killed it. Inami Oatspinat the Harkatla was tired and it died. So according to Bayeda Shepherd should be chayav because he has something he's watching and even though it died naturally. It's a natural, it's a location where everybody brings their animals because it's a good pasture, and therefore it wasn't negligent. Yeah, that's the case. Even if it fell off, and died, it should be patur. Why are you chayav in that case? You should have held on to it, and you didn't hold on to it enough. Therefore, you're chayav. That's negligent. So that come the first case of that Mishnah. If it went up by itself and it ran up the steps by itself, ran up the mountain by itself, you're patur. You should have held it also. Over there, you're patur because you tried to grab it, but it overpowered you and ran up. You had an animal at ADD and it ran away. And then it died. Marbi said, right? We said in the Mishnah that in the case of a guy who rents his animal out, and then the renter gives it to a borrower, and the animal dies, the borrower pays the renter, and the renter says, no. How can you do business with your cow if the guy is not going to get compensated? Therefore, the borrower shall pay the owner directly and skip over the renter. That the shomer does not get any money, but rather the borrower pays the renter, the owner. You said in the name of Halacha Shmuel, Halukaya Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi wasn't sure whether or not in the first Mishnah, in the case as well, where in the other case where the shomer agreed to pay. Right, once he's I'll pay you, then he gets the benefits of the fees. Go according to them there also or not? Malay tells him he indeed was not sure, but according to in both cases. Amar Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yosef, the Machloket was there as well, but according to him, even in the first case. Rabbi Yochanan says no. He agrees in the first case. Shekvar Shalem over there is referring to the case where he already paid it, but not if he said he was going to pay. Shalem in lo, Shalem lo. Only if he paid it, but not if he did not pay yet, even though he promised. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Shalem, Shalem. When it says he didn't pay, it didn't mean he didn't actually pay. And once I will pay, even if he does not pay yet, he still acquires it. Ema, so we say, we have to change it. Rabbi Yossi would agree in the first Mishnah, in the case where the guy said, I will pay, he will acquire the fees. Next Mishnah. A thief told two people, I stole $100 from one of you. I don't know which one. Aviv Shelachad Mikem Efkid Limena, where he tells two guys, one of your dads told me to watch your item. And I don't know which one gave it to me. Until he has to give each guy $100 in both cases. Because he admitted that he owed money. Second case, if two people left $100 with one guy. Sorry, if two people left money with one guy. Reuven left $100 there. One guy left $200 there. We had this case in Bava. We had this, I believe it was earlier. Yeah, we had it earlier, right in the beginning of the Masechet. So one guy left $100, and one guy left $200. Time. Each guy said, I left you the $200. I don't left you $100. He gives each $100 back because that's definitely what each guy has. The second $100, the last $100, the third $100 actually, you leave it away till the Navi comes. Mario say, if the guy has nothing to lose, the scammer has nothing to lose, of course he'll do it every time. You should put away all $300 away for Navi. So therefore, the liar will admit so that he can get back at least his $100 and he won't try to pull off a scam. Similar case, regarding two utensils. One was worth $100, right? So he left a $100 bottle of scotch and $1,000 bottle of scotch. One was $1,000. Each guy said, I left $1,000 scotch. You give the $100 scotch to one of them. From the bigger one, you break it. Well, now we can't say it's scotch because then you split it. You pour out. You tend to make you give $100 worth of the scotch to the second guy. And the last $900 of the second bottle, you leave it out for the Nabi. Reza says, in Canada, that's the case. What's the scam we're going to lose? We have to give a reason for the guy not to scam. If you're giving everybody the $100 minimum. Allah Rabbi, we have to leave everything away so the Nabi arrives so that the guy would admit and not try to steal.